Hello, Amazon sellers. This is Jordan Malik, episode 114, talking about Are You Feeling Discouraged? What to do if you're feeling discouraged. Episode 114. Thank you so much for your feedback. And I'm surprised the numbers of listeners keep going up, which is extremely flattering to me because this is a space of experts, quote unquote, Amazon experts, half of whom are totally legit and half of whom, aren't legit. So it's just the space is getting more and more crowded with experts. And I'm just finding that I'm getting more loyal followers like you as that's happening. So believe me when I tell you, when I do these episodes, I am extremely thankful to have you. The number of downloads keeps going up, and to date, since March of 2014, and remember, I had a big stop in there up until recently about posting new episodes, new Ask Jordan podcasts. Downloads to date have been over 425,000 downloads to date. That means all my episodes, the 425,000 individual episode downloads, right? So it's extremely flattering to me to have you. And I want to thank you very much for listening. And I want to thank you for your time because you could be doing a million other things. And instead, you're listening to me. So episode 114, I'm recording this June 9th, 2016. By the way, it is hot here in Vegas. We've had 105 plus degree weather. I hope you're staying cool. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. It's no surprise that there's a lot of discouraging news out there. I'm still an optimist when it comes to the world, but I hope your business and your life is going very well. And believe me that I'm pulling for you. I want to talk about sellers getting discouraged. I'm going to be doing a series of these. This is episode 114, and we'll probably do a good number of these. I wrote a blog post. One of the luxuries that I have is having access to experts, Amazon and eBay experts, and sourcing experts, book sourcing experts, retail arbitrage experts, etc. I don't know it all. There's areas that I don't have a lot of expertise in. I'm not the most knowledgeable book sourcer. I'm not the most knowledgeable wholesale sourcer. I lean on other experts to get their knowledge. And when you guys come to me and I get feedback from emails or feedback from my podcast or whatever, you say, I'm getting discouraged, Jordan, things that I'm doing aren't working. I have the luxury of reaching out to them and asking, hey, look at my readers are having problems. Can you help them? So I wrote a blog post on it. When you go to askjordan.net and then go to the search this site field on the right and just type in the word discouraged, the blog post article will pop up, or I'll just leave the link in the show notes for you if you don't want to do the search and just go to askjordan.net, scroll down, look for episode 114, and the link will be there to the actual blog article. So I've interviewed a good 8 experts and got their thoughts, and I'm going to be doing kind of focusing on one of them in each episode. One of my go-to guys, probably the most premier person for me in terms of sourcing books. I've always talked about how lucrative the used book business is when you source used books online or locally. Peter Valley runs FBA Mastery with a Y at the end. FBAmastery.com. It's a blog, and he's published excellent books. He's an incredibly good writer. He's published several books on sourcing used books and how-to and tactics, etc. And really admire him a lot for his knowledge and the growth of his business. But I asked him, I said, what advice do you have? And he says that focus on the one thing that's going to make everything else fall into place. So as opposed to you focusing on minutia, feedback from customers or hanging out on Facebook or your packing materials or how to charge sales tax, focus on the one thing that drives everything else into place, and that is sourcing, right? So if you're having trouble making your numbers meet, you need to start concentrating on all the areas that are critical to bringing more numbers in, and that is sourcing. That's sourcing more product. Okay, and get off Facebook, get off TV. I said something to this effect a while ago on a different episode recently. Mark Cuban calls it sales trumps all, right? Mark Cuban from Shark Tank says sales trump all. So when there's any doubt of a business, well, your sales is like the number one bellwether indicator of how well you're doing, your sales and your profit. So I respect Peter very much, and I totally agree with him that, if you're bogged down in a lot of minutia and your business isn't doing very well, your Amazon business, you need to reapply your focus on what works. And that is sourcing, because if you read my blog or read Peter's blog, there's a lot of inventory out there. Yes, the competition may be tougher, right? If you walk into a Walmart once a month and expect to come home with $5,000 in profit worth of products, you're in for a surprise. I think you could do that pretty much easily 3 or 4 years ago. It's not like that anymore. Now you might have to visit 3 Walmarts 3 days a week. If you source used books and you were used to having a thrift store all to yourself, and believe me, I know how this feels, and you keep going to the same thrift store every week and paying $100 and walking out with $1,000 worth of profit in used books, guess what? You probably have competition now. So now you have to hit the same thrift store 3 times a week or 3 different thrift stores once a week or whatever. Same thing with wholesale. You probably have more competition. If you're a private label seller, you've got more competition. So go back to what you know works, and that is sourcing. And if what you're sourcing isn't working, you need to find a different product or a different area to source. Okay, so that is the tip for the day. I'm trying to keep these short. That's why this is deliberately short. So stay tuned for episode 115 coming any day now. And again, go to askjordan.net if you want to see this blog article that I wrote, getting 8 different experts' help on discouraged sellers. Go to askjordan.net, look for episode 114 to find a link to the blog article there. Good luck. Keep me posted. Hang in there. There's people with 10% of your intelligence out there that are making a killing on Amazon. I don't care where you are in the world. So if they can do it, you can do it. Hang in there. We'll be talking to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.